Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Business Growth Show, where we talk about all components of business and how to utilize them for exponential growth. My name is Athin Cassiotis. I'm a serial entrepreneur, international speaker, results strategist, business coach, mentor, and consultant. Today, I have an awesome guest. He is a serial entrepreneur, CEO, and has founded and runs 5 companies. His most recent company, where he is the founder and CEO, is Warm Welcome, which helps businesses upgrade from boring text to personal video so they can build meaningful relationships that drive real revenue. He was also recently named a top 100 Tech Innovator and Influencer. Welcome, David J., and thank you for being on my show.
Thanks, Athin. It's great to be here.
Well, awesome to have you here as well, mate. It's going to be an amazing show for all the watchers and listeners today with amazing value. So you're a very successful entrepreneur. So for those people who don't know who you are, please introduce yourself by telling us about you and your journey.
Sure. Yeah. So my journey started, I think, like a lot of entrepreneurs when they dropped out of college. So for me, that was back in 2001. I was going to a small college and playing soccer there. And when my soccer career ended, I was like, what am I doing here? Might as well just get to work. And so I started a service company, just being a wedding photographer. And from there, we started to hit all the typical scaling problems that every service business has. You know, everything's reliant on the amount of time that I had. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that I had to plan my year out based on scheduling of other people's weddings or photo shoots. And so I started to build online communities, started to serve those communities with software. And, 15 years later, now that's all I do is build software, build communities around software, and try to kind of help people solve the business problems that they're having.
Awesome, mate. I love the journey, and I can connect a lot with that story. I dropped out of sort of year to my final year of school as well, and I still actually play soccer. I love soccer as well, so it's awesome to get someone. It's a good sport, I think, to build that. Obviously there's connection with the team sport as well as that mindset. I think as well. You probably got a lot from it too.
Yeah,
love it. So I guess. You're very successful. You've got a lot of companies that you founded and that you're running, right? So let's start a bit there. I think is a great way. So you've got, how do you ensure that these businesses are successful? I guess because you've done it multiple times, so there must be something there that ensures that it is successful.
Yeah, I think success is obviously defined by the person. So, for some people, success is, making $1 billion. And for some people, it's creating freedom in their life so that they can go and raise their family. And some people, it's somewhere in between. And so I think success for business probably, if you were to try and generalize it in some way, I think in my opinion, a business needs to be self-sustaining, right? So I'm not a big fan of these huge venture-backed companies that just lose money forever and never turn a profit. I don't think we're teaching people the right mechanisms for business and life when your business doesn't ever make more money than it costs. But then the other thing is just, is it solving people's problems? And so if you approach your business in that way, where it's not focused on you, but it's focused on other people and the problems they're having and, what they need to do in order to make their life better, then you can keep iterating and changing. And maybe it's not successful or it's not working in the first year, but you can listen and get feedback and iterate and make it successful the next year. So the only way that you're not going to be successful is if you quit and if you stop. And so if you keep changing, adapting, evolving, like, you'll figure it out, as long as your ego doesn't get in the way and you are willing to change, you'll be able to help people. And actually it reminds me of something my dad said to me When I was 16 years old, he sat me down and he said, David, if you make your business about helping other people, you'll always have plenty of work. And so that's it. Like, you'll be successful if your business is helping other people and it's sustainable and you can help more people over time.
Yeah, I love that. Very powerful. And you clearly agree with success is, it's an individual thing, but like you said, a business, you just want to be there so that it's sustainable, as well as, obviously we hire people, right? We can't do businesses by ourselves. So, we obviously want to create a good culture in that, and we want to be able to, keep these people in business, right? We want to grow it and, be able to keep these people. So that's another key reason, right? Where it's an ecosystem, I guess, of making that successful and having a great place for everybody to work, whether you're the owner or whether you're just part of that, amazing system. Yeah, and I guess if we were, let's break it down a little bit more. So, if we wanted to start a business and grow a business, say, from the start to like $1 million, right? Everyone sort of loves that $1 million thing. It's like that 7 figures. Obviously, you got to start at 6 first, but then you got to build your way up, right, to there. So, what do you see as being key, I guess, in how to do that as well?
I would say getting started fast, and not completely baking your product. A lot of businesses will burn $1 million. One of my companies, we spent $1 million building it. That was agree.com, and then brought it to the market. The market gave us feedback on it, like they always do, and then we had to go back and iterate. And it was really difficult to make adjustments at that point, because we had spent so much time, energy, and money and invested in it, that it was similar to like baking something, where we had all the ingredients, we put it together, we put it in the oven, we baked it, and then we presented it to the potential customer. The problem is when they gave us feedback, we had to go back and try and rebake it. And we all know what happens when you try and rebake something. It falls apart, it crumbles, it burns. It's a really terrible thing. If you can take the ingredients, build a prototype, and then take that and see if people will actually buy that, it's a lot cheaper, it's a lot faster, and you can get feedback before everything is really solidified, both in your mind and out there as a product. And so with Warm Welcome, that's what we did, is we said, how cheaply and how quickly can we build it? And, back in 2015, it cost us $1 million in almost a year to build a product. In 2019, it cost us $10,000 in 1 month to get a prototype out. Now, it's not a finished product, but it was a prototype. And from there, people could give us real life feedback on it, not theoretical, ideas, but hey, here it is. What do you think? And you see that switch happening both in little SaaS companies like us, all the way up to car companies. When Elon Musk sells you a car, he does not have a car. He doesn't have a facility to even build that car. He has a prototype that they hand built. And then a whole bunch of people buy it. And he's like, okay, cool. Let's go figure out how we can build this. And so I think that's something that, new founders should be doing, is realizing that they're unconsciously incompetent. They don't know what they don't know. And they need to get stuff into the market as fast as possible so that they can get feedback on it.
Yeah, I love that. Multiple ways. I love the unconscious incompetent side of things and all of that area of we don't know what we don't know. And that's why having external people can help us. And I guess, I really love the starting it shortly, because you can put out customer surveys, but it doesn't necessarily going to give you, great stuff. But if you can start something for, up to $10,000 and put it out there in the market, it's massive in terms of the, feedback that you're going to get from that. And then, who knows what it is. And it really validates basically the idea, right, that you've got a product market fit, because you hear about all these people where, like you said, they build something and then everyone's like, oh, we don't actually want this. We want something else. In like, far out, start from square one again. And, it's, we don't want to waste time, right? Time is our precious resource. We want to make sure that we're doing something that's, going to benefit, like you said, helping people, solving problems as we do as entrepreneurs. So Yeah, really awesome.
Yeah.
And I guess if we, if we talk about like, it's all about people, right? Like in a lot of business, right? Is we're connecting with people, we're doing stuff, and um, I guess you want that personal type relationship where possible, right? So making our business personal is, stated to be better for, relationships, right? As well as for revenue. So you want to let us know a little bit more about why that's the case?
Sure. I think it all goes back to trust, and how much do we trust the person that we're working with, and whether we're working with a business coach like yourself. Like if I'm working with a business coach, I really have to trust that the information and the coaching that they're going to give me is going to, at the end of the day, bring an outcome that I want in my life and in my business, right? And so I put a huge amount of trust in you, ahead of any result, ahead of any outcome, right? It's often the same with products. People are needing to trust somebody, not because the product is expensive. SaaS software is usually pretty cheap, but it takes some time and energy and effort to implement it. And so they have to put a lot of trust in the company, in order to buy it and learn it and implement it. And so if you're trying to build trust, I mean, humans have been building trust in the same way for generations. The problem has come about in the last, kind of 30 years, really. But it originated, I think, 600 years ago when the printing press came out. All right, 600 years ago, the printing press came out. And ever since then, we've been obsessed with written communication because it was one of the first and only things in the world that scaled. We're obsessed with things that scale, and the written word scaled. That's why we have, hardbound books, leatherbound books. We have, Twitter, Facebook. We've got post-it notes. We got text messages. All these are written word-based communication platforms. The problem, though, is that humans actually don't communicate very well with the written word, right? Uh-oh, you froze up on me. I don't know if that's.
You're all good, man.
We're still good. So if you look at Facebook over the last year, you saw that, right? You saw like when somebody communicates something on this side and somebody reads it over here and they communicate back, they spiral. It turns negative so fast. Humans, when they read something, they tend to read it in a negative state. And when they write something, they tend to write it more aggressively than they would say it. And so as we look for a better way for humans to communicate in a way that's going to build more trust, we realize like it needs to be face to face. And if you can't be in the same room face to face, well, face to face over video now is a way more powerful way to build trust and build relationships, which business kind of rests on those things.
Yeah, I love that. And you're right. It's trust is everything in business, like you said, whether it's getting, business coaches and stuff to help us, or whether it's just connecting with clients. And I think it's becoming even more so. Like I know you said 30 years, but I think even the last few years, like on social media, right, where there's just so much information, being put out there. It's like, who can you trust? So it's becoming even more apparent. So I really love the shift there. And, I'll just add that, everyone's a different type of learner as well, right? So there's like, visual, auditory, kinesthetic type people, but a lot of people do like to see the visual element of something makes a big difference. And then obviously you've got the talking and the other elements as well. So really helps to give the whole suite, I guess, of inputs.
Right. Think how much trust is built by just seeing somebody's face, them smiling and waving at you. Right? You can't build that through a text-based medium, right? Throwing a couple emojis, at somebody is not going to give that. It's not going to give the same sort of experience, right? And so I think we have to take advantage of that. Every business has to take advantage of that now, because in the last year, every single business, or just about every business, has had to learn how to sell online, right? So if you had a brick and mortar shop, well, your foot traffic is probably down quite a bit. So you've had to learn how to sell online. If you had a restaurant, right? Can't have people in the restaurant. So you got to learn how to sell online. So, if you're selling a widget, or you're selling, lotion, or you're selling whatever it is that you're selling, you got to learn how to do it online. And there are certain mechanics of that, right? When somebody walks in your store and you're sitting there behind the desk, you say, "Hey, can I help you? Can I help you find something?" Or you just greet them and you say, "Hey, I'm so glad you came in today." Like, all of those are trust building things that people aren't doing currently through their website. Most websites are text, some pictures, stock images, and some graphics, and a shopping cart. Well, now you can put yourself down there in the corner of the website in a little warm welcome video bubble where you're smiling and waving, welcoming somebody to your website just the same way as you'd welcome them to your shop. And so the businesses that shift there the quickest and start building trust online the quickest are the ones that are going to win in that space.
Yeah, I love that. Really awesome. And I love the things that we can do now and a little bit on the website like you were mentioning. So obviously, we want to get clients, but at the same time, we don't just want clients. We want like raving fans, as they're called, right? We want people that really love what we do, right? And then they become advocates, they become promoters, for our businesses and things like that. So how do we really, help that process happen so that, they can be, helping us to build our business and getting those results?
Yeah, I think oftentimes the relationship is the thing that tips people, pushes them to be a raving fan or a promoter. A lot of people can offer products. Products are becoming somewhat of commodities, but when you add the relational component, you show empathy and you show that you actually care for this person and their well-being, not just, for them as a customer, but them as a human. It changes everything. And so just like on your website, you have video testimonials of people sharing about the impact you've had in your life, or sharing about, what they think about you. A written testimonial means almost nothing. It's too easy to fake. And you could write it, I could write it, anyone could write it. I have no idea if that's real or fake. But a video one like you have on your website is really powerful, because I can look in the eyes of that person and judge for myself whether they're telling the truth. And so, Warm Welcome helps with that too, is you can collect video testimonials right from your website or from an email. Somebody can click the button, record a video, and send it back. And so video testimonials are a great way to kind of take word of mouth marketing and turn it into word of mouse, right? Make it scalable, because a video is scalable, right? You wish you could have that person go around the city and tell everybody how great you are. And you can kind of do that nowadays with video.
Yeah, I love that. So very powerful. And you're right. Video testimonials and videos in general, it's really what connects people. And it's awesome that you guys are building, these different elements of how you can make it easier, I guess, and quicker to do that, to give us an edge, because we do need an edge, right, in business. If we keep doing the same thing, eventually people are going to take over because they're going to be innovating. So really awesome that you're helping to foster that, for businesses now to stay ahead of the game, basically. So that's really awesome. And I guess, like, a lot of people, they just think about scaling and, growing and all this type of stuff, right? But, a lot of the time, a better way to focus is on serving. Like, how do I serve, my clients, my prospects and everything like that instead. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on that distinction there as well.
Yeah, 100%. Businesses often, people often, I should say, tend to focus on themselves and on what they're doing and what they're thinking about every day. And so, for example, we're building a product, we're building this piece of software that, that we hope helps people, right? But that's what we're spending our day doing. And so in conversations, it's easy to think about that and think about the product instead of thinking about the customer's problem. And if we can keep ourselves thinking about the customer's problem, because that's what they're thinking about every day, that's what they want to solve. Now our mindset is on them. It's on others. It's on serving them. It's on solving their problem. But it's definitely a daily reminder. We get wrapped up with our own lives and our own problems, and so we've got to be pulled back out of it. I think that's leadership, right? You probably provide a lot of that with the people that you coach and mentor, is just pulling them out of the weeds, showing them the path forward, right? Whether it's a client or a customer, or whether it's a client or one of your colleagues, someone that you work with. I don't necessarily think that our staff or my employees want me thinking about them every day. And I think a lot of culture training is gone awry, and it's telling the leader of the company or the CEO, you need to be thinking about your employees. You need to be caring about your employees. And I don't think they actually want that. I think that they want the leader to take them somewhere, to cast a vision and to move them forward, not to spend their time, coddling them. And we get that mixed up, right? Like, people want to go somewhere in life. Like, they don't want just, someone there, taking care of them and handing them stuff. They want to grow. They want to learn. They're happier when they're doing that than they are when somebody is just, focused on them. Right. So anyway, a little bit of a rant there, but something that I'm sure you see with the people you coach. Like, they need a vision. They need to be moving forward.
Yeah, it's all good. We love rants and rabbit holes and things. You never know where it's going to lead. So yeah, and I think, generally, like, the way I see it is humans, naturally want to be led, right? Like, whether it's, a customer journey, right? Like, along the process, to get them in and into your ecosystem and stuff like that, or it's whether it's just general, like in business, to lead them, like you said, as a leader of the business, and not just manage them, but actually lead from the front, and, like you said, cast a vision and everything like that. Because then people will be like, yes, I want to follow that person, or yes, okay, this is the next thing I need to do, right? So it makes it easy for us because, we can only make a certain amount of decisions a day. There's a few factors, for everyone, but, you can't make that many decisions. So our brain works on autopilot most of the time. It's like 90% of our thoughts are the same thoughts as yesterday, right? So it's, that being led area actually helps us as humans, because otherwise, depending on the person, it could be challenging to really make too many decisions in a day. That's why, like, Steve Jobs and a lot of people just wear the same stuff, right? Every day as well.
Yeah, every day.
Love it.
Yeah.
So I guess, we want to get great customers. We want to, lead them and everything like that, to get them part of what we do. And obviously video is part of that. Now, a lot of business is about return on investment, right? ROI. So how do we, I guess, link that with happy customers to making, good, better ROI and everything like that for our business as well?
Yeah, great question. It's got to do that, or it's kind of a waste of time and energy. So the way that we've leveraged this is a lot through video testimonials, and moving people through a customer journey, moving them through from, being just a normal customer to being an evangelist. And, we use the NPS system. So we're tracking that every quarter with every customer. And it's amazing to see when somebody writes in and they maybe give you, a medium score, 6, 7, 8, something like that. And then they write in some comments below it. And then we send them a video back, and we say, hey, John, thanks so much for writing. Like, that's really good feedback, and we need to work on that in our business. And so we appreciate you taking the time to give us that feedback. It does something in their mind, because right then they experience another human, right? Me or someone on our team who is caring about them enough to read their feedback, caring about them enough to respond to it. And then we got to go and make good on it. But that human to human connection is a standout feature in itself, because You know what most companies do right now? They stick these stupid robots on their website, right? Like, I mean, if you don't think that's the dumbest thing in the world, like, I'm sorry, I just can't help you, because like nobody wants to talk to a robot. Nobody. Like, I've never met anybody that's like, I prefer to just talk to this robot rather than a real person. Like, come on. And yet people continue to put these stupid things on their websites. And so when you go the opposite direction and you say, no, I'm going to personalize this. I'm going to put myself, I'm going to put my face, or, one of our account reps on our website. And we're going to say, hey, we're personally here to help you, which that's what we do. Like, every single person at any company should be there to support the customer in some way. And so, so we've used the videos through NPS to move people along in the customer journey, to bake them into the ecosystem even more. And we're seeing lots of industries doing it. Like, a real estate agent put one of these video bubbles on their website. In their brokerage, everybody has the same access to the same things, right? The only thing this person did differently was put a video bubble on their website where they introduce themselves. They, share about their kind of vision as a unique realtor, a unique agent, and they're 3 to 5x every single other agent at the office. Just because they're personalizing stuff, they're building trust that much faster in a hot market. It's a really hot market. So people are looking around, making decisions quick. And in 1 second, they can make a decision on this business versus this business, because this one I know and I have some idea of the humans behind it. This one, I have no idea of the humans behind it. So those are maybe some real life stats that we're seeing across the board, whether it's real estate or SaaS or coaching. We have a lot of coaches signing up for Warm Welcome because, one, it's convenient. So for coaching, you probably find yourself repeating yourself all the time, right?
Yeah.
So this is what we're hearing from coaches is like, yeah, but I'm trying to scale my business. I'm trying to grow my business, but I have this information and I end up saying it to the same people. Well, what you can do with Warm Welcome is use a video playlist where you record the content, one time, and you have it all there. But then when you're in a conversation with someone, maybe it's a Zoom call or they send you an email, you don't have to say the whole thing again. You just click on the video. You say, hey, John, that's a great question. A lot of people that I coach go through that. And so check out these couple of videos, and then we'll talk about these during our next meetup next week. Bop, bop, bop. You can add 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 videos that will autoplay after that first one. They can get all the information they need. They feel personally cared for by you. And it takes you, less than a minute to do that. So that makes it efficient. And for businesses that are built on that type of efficiency, you can deliver a lot of information with very little effort and still make it personal.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very powerful. I love that element there, especially, tailoring it to my area in the business coaching mentoring side. But yeah, awesome results as well for that agent. And it's amazing, like you said, you got to stand out some way and everything like that. And yeah, this, warm welcome. So I'd like to know a little bit more, right? Because you're talking about this sort of stuff. So with warm welcome, like, what different types of video, right, can we incorporate into the customer journey? I'd like to know more about that.
Yeah, so we wanted to take on more than just like video emails, right? A lot of companies are doing video emails, and that's fine. It's kind of a tactical solution to a problem. We wanted to do more of a strategic solution where we personalize every single touch point of the customer journey with video. And so whether that starts with a video business card, or whether it starts with somebody coming to your website and seeing the video bubble, or it progresses down the line to kind of the workflow element of communication with email, video emails, or even other places on your website. For example, a lot of people work really hard to build trust on the first couple pages of their website. And then the client gets to the contact page, right? The page that's like, we finally got them, right? And what do they see there? They see a form, right? These businesses, they put a form on their website, and it's like, fill out this form, we'll get back to you. It's like, you just did all the work to build trust, to get people to the place where they're going to contact you, and you just give them like, here, take a number. It's like, no. You should put one of these warm welcome videos on that page where you talk to them as though you've already closed the deal, because you more or less have. So you're like, hey, I'm so glad you're here. I'm really excited to work with you. And this is what it's going to look like once we start working together, right? Paint that picture for them. Don't tell them submit a form. Start to show them what it's going to be like after they sign up, after they buy, after they do whatever action you want them to do. So almost every portion of your website should be starting to convert to video, and I would argue personal video. And so whether it's your contact page or even your pricing page, why not have, you're explaining the differences in the packages. That would seem like a much better way to do it than pricing tiers, or a restaurant. Like a restaurant puts a menu. Most restaurants have a menu on their website. Why don't you have a video of the chef explaining each dish, right? Like these are all like very easy transitions. To pick up your phone, go back in the kitchen and say, hey chef, tell me about this dish, and record them doing it, put it on your website. Like that's going to do a lot better job selling your product than the text-based menu that you have on your website, right? It's like, it's so easy. It's like, this is low-hanging fruit for businesses, but it's just beginning, right? The whole COVID thing is kind of the catalyst for people to wake up and realize that video is a better way to sell themselves and their business than text. It's like, oh my gosh, people should have been doing this 20 years ago. The people that were doing it 20 years ago have won big, like Zappos, right? Zappos, huge shoe company, online shoe company, right? Everyone's like, I could never buy shoes online because I need to see and understand what it's going to be like to wear it. So what they do? They literally just shot a dumb little video of somebody walking in a circle with that shoe on. And that was enough to build trust so that people started to order these shoes online. It was the video. And so, then of course they did a great job with customer service, and they grew, and I think Amazon bought them for $1 billion or something crazy. But that was a long time ago. Why is it taking all these small businesses so long to catch up? Why are they making pretty logos and graphics, and spending so much time doing that instead of personalizing things with video, doing things that actually build trust with people?
Yeah, I love that. And I love to summarize the key point you said about the assumptive language, right? Like, in the sales process, we want to have assumptive language, right? For everybody that's doing in their business. So that way, they already feel like they're part of that journey. So yeah, that's really powerful. Like you were saying, whether it's the contact page, whether it's other pages, and you could obviously overcome objections potentially as well on that video of, key questions that people may have or something like that. So yeah, you get a lot more dimension into something. Whereas, yeah, if you had to write it all down and everything like that, and it would be a lot longer and more challenging to sort of get the same message across. So that's really powerful. So to go a little bit more specific on this, so you're talking about these amazing things on our websites and stuff that we can get right in different areas as an example. So a lot of people, have websites already, right? Like, they've built them, whether it's like WordPress or Squarespace or Wix or whatever it is, right? So I guess, is it easy to integrate warm welcome into something like that, basically in that ecosystem? I'd just like to know, a little bit more about how you guys sort of fit into that mix.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it'll take less than 20 seconds. All you do, if you want to put a video bubble on your site, all you do is you take the one little line of code and you put it in the head tag, and that will go across every page of your site. And then you could put a unique video bubble on different pages. You can do all that without ever, doing anything else with the little code snippet. You just make a new one, tell them what page you want it on, boom, it's there. If you want to embed one of our video pages, like on your contact page, you just record a video. You can record it on your phone, on your computer, wherever. Add whatever kind of settings you want to it, copy, paste the embed code, and you're done. So just like embedding a Vimeo video or a YouTube video or something like that. So yeah, it's very simple to add these things, and they're interactive, they're engaging, because the user can click on it and have this, asynchronous conversation back and forth with you. We're going to be adding in a live component as well, which again, this is all to help businesses, sell through their website. If you have a business, like let's say you're selling, whatever, trinket it is. Let's say you're selling lotion or something like that, some sort of healthcare product. And you've got all your product over here, right? And you're working on stuff, you're doing things, and somebody's on your website. Well, one, you want to know that they're on your website, but most of the time it's blind to us. There's no notification to us that somebody is visiting our website right then. Warm Welcome is doing that. It's triggering these little notifications when people are out there, looking at stuff. And then we're gonna have the option for them to click on the little video bubble. And again, if you've turned this on, it will just ding your phone and say, hey, somebody has a question about this. And you can just pop open your video on your phone or right from your computer, and you can talk them through the product, just like you were a sales associate at a store. Like, people have that setup. They have sales associates at their store, but their store is closed. So they need to transition that sales process now and have it done through video. There's no reason that a remote salesperson now who's sitting at home or lost their job because their business, got forced to close, but there's no reason why they can't just have the product sitting there and say, hey, I'm going to walk you through it. This is how you apply this, or this is what you do with that, and you give somebody 2 minutes of your time and then they go buy. It's like, great. That's what we can do now through the internet, through these interactive videos that, people could never do before.
Yeah, that's very powerful. I love that additional thing that you guys are doing. You're definitely thinking outside the box there, and to be able to know what they're doing and help them on the spot, like massive, not just trust, but like you can just basically get into the buying cycle like that in there and confirm whether they are, because obviously people buy a lot off emotion, but they need to reinforce with some logic as well as part of it. Everyone's a little bit different. So by you doing all of that, it's like, oh, this is how it works. Okay, cool. And then, they can make that choice. So that's awesome. Looking forward to seeing when all that rolls out in that way. So it'll be awesome. Very cool. I'd like to hear, I guess, you've founded and run a lot of companies and stuff like that. And, we don't just, rock up to be successful, right? So I'm sure, we always talk about all these amazing things that we do, but I think what people don't know is that success is a journey that just goes up and down, right? It's there's no just straight up. There's always challenges along the way. So do you want to maybe talk about a big challenge or a failure, whatever you want to call it, I guess, or something like that, and how you overcame that, so people could see that, that other side, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, the big one that I kind of referenced earlier was, taking too much time on the front end and building products and kind of baking it in and thinking through too much of it myself or with a small team before getting feedback from real live customers. I think I've done that pretty consistently, and with almost every business, I've put too much in on the front end and then been resistant to change once it hit the market, because I thought through it so much. I was like, this is right. How many meetings I've had about this? Like, we've thought through every possible scenario. And so I would say that's the thing that's probably cost me the most is not getting stuff to market quick enough and being open to the feedback on it at that point. But yes, I mean, startups are hard, and it's a lot of work, and you have to somewhat, love that process and love the volatility of it, or you probably shouldn't engage in it, right? People are somewhat googly-eyed with startups and entrepreneurship and whatnot, but it's I think it's not so much something that should be like taught and glamorized, like, oh, everyone should go do this, because the fact is, if you have to be kind of taught or convinced to go and do something like this, like, you're the wrong person. You shouldn't be doing it. The people who I think do the best with starting companies and entrepreneurship and stuff are the people that innovate out of their own frustration, where they say, like, necessity is the mother of invention. I think frustration is the mother of invention, because that's it. Like, when you're frustrated, you're like, there's got to be a better way to do this, and I'm so pissed off about it that I'm going to go make that better way. And I was like mad about it before, and I'm probably gonna be mad during the process because it's hard and it's difficult, but I'm going to get the end result. And it's those types of people that tend to succeed in starting companies and building things, because they're not so much doing it, they're not trying to do it the right way. They're trying to do it, they're trying to, like, make this thing or solve this problem or whatnot.
Yeah.
So.
I love that. And, I think a simple way to explain what you were talking about before, where you were saying that I'm, I don't know, I thought about it so many times, stuff like that. It's like our ego, right? Our ego comes in. It's like, oh, this is the way and everything like that. And we can get caught up in, like, our way is the right way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where I think, this is where, coaches and mentors and people from the outside, right, can come in and sometimes, especially with founders or even just in general in the business, to give you that different perspective and just say, hey, have you thought of this? Or, maybe there's a better way of doing things, to really break that mold, I guess, like that. So I'd love to hear about, how, your thoughts on coaching, mentoring, and how, that's, I guess, impacted you in what you do as well.
Sure. Yeah, I've had lots of coaches and mentors and advisors, and I think it's hugely important, at all different stages, right? For moving around the apprenticeship square, which is a kind of a visual tool from one of my mentors. We're going from unconscious incompetence, where we don't know, and we're moving all the way around to the point where we're unconsciously competent, where we don't even think about something, we just do it. It's second nature to us. And we're constantly going around that, right? As we're starting companies, learning new things. Like, you don't start a company knowing how to start a company just because you've started a company, because the last company you started was a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. The world was a completely different place, right? So there are things that you're unconsciously incompetent of, every time you do something new. And if you don't enjoy that, then, like, you're in big trouble. And I think coaches and mentors and advisors can they can point out some of that, and they can help you move around that square, even if they're not an expert in the exact field that you're going into. They can oftentimes see see around some corners and give some feedback on some things that are helpful. So yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I think it's good, and it's maybe more a sign of maybe humility, which, humility comes from the word humus, which means earth and ground, dirt. That's soil, right? That's where growth comes from. And if you're not willing to have a coach or mentor or advisor, like if you think you're the smartest one in every room, you don't really have the right type of soil to grow anything, to build anything. And so I think that's a very good sign for a founder is, hey, if you're still the know-it-all 21-year-old, like you're going to go through some tilling of that soil over the next 10 years, right? It's going to get sifted up. It's going to be hard. It's going to hurt a lot. The more humble you can be, and the more you can allow the people around you to help shape and mold you, the more natural and I think smooth and organic that growth will happen without the pitchforks and shovels.
Love it. Completely agree with that. Such a great little segment that you shared there. And a lot of people say if we're not growing, we're dying, right? So we've always got to have that, child, learning, always wanting to learn type thing, right? And that's really awesome. So it's definitely helped me to get where I am. And, like you said, and I think Einstein said it, that we can't solve a problem in the same way of thinking that created it. Right. So whether that's putting yourself into a different situation yourself or getting other people like coaches and mentors and other one else to change your thinking. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? Oh, wait a minute. And then that's how you can solve problems quicker as well. It's really powerful.
Great.
Love it. All right. So I guess just finally, what piece of advice, I guess, would you give to all the entrepreneurs listening today that's going to help them moving forward, in the years to come about how everything's changing?
Yeah, I would say to keep moving quickly. Like if you have an idea, if you have something that you're starting, like start it today. Do something today that moves you closer to that. Not in theory, but in actuality. Like a easy one is, okay, I have an idea about this. Who do I know who has any experience in that? And I start to organize my contacts in a folder based on that idea. And then the next day it's like, okay, well, I'm going to start to write to those people and I'm going to ask them about it and see what they think, right? Like those are all practical steps that you can do to start something and not wait until you have it all fleshed out or wait till you have all your ducks in a row. It's like, you're never going to have all your ducks in a row. You're never going to have it fully fleshed out. So get started, keep working. And as you're working on it, talk to people, try and sell it, always be selling. And then as people start to buy it and you get more feedback, well, you're going to shift and change and adapt. And it's going to be this iterative process, not this like build it. Okay, I'm done building. Now I'm going to go sell. And great, now I have this business. It's like, nah, it's not really like this straight line. And so, yeah, I'd encourage that. And just be patient. Like it doesn't happen overnight. Like you can make progress overnight, but you're not just going to have this great product or great business overnight. And so give yourself time. The timing is a huge part of success. And people have had the biggest successes. Like it's not because they had some brilliant idea. It's because they brought that idea into the market at the right time, which a lot of that was just luck, right? Good old Tom from MySpace could have been Zuckerberg. If he had launched MySpace 3 years later, it would have been Facebook, right? So we got to remember the timing and the market's willingness to accept something is so much of our success that our success isn't all driven just by like how much energy and effort we put in. We got to put in energy and effort, but be patient with yourself and keep making progress.
I love that. Amazing points there. So yeah, we connected through our network. So I learned about your awesome journey, which includes, founding and running 5 companies. You have the results, for building successful startups. So, people that come in, investors and everything like that would be happy to invest, as they'd be very confident, to get a great ROI in what you've built. You've got the runs on the board there. Warm Welcome sounds like an awesome, innovative and disruptive business, which is changing the game about how we interact, with our prospects and clients, which is amazing. you're a great guy as well. And I'm sure you continue to change the world in a positive way. So I'm very grateful that we connected. I look forward to work with you in the future as well.
Great. Thanks a lot, Athin. Appreciate it.
It's been awesome. Yeah. So thanks a lot for your time today, David. I'm sure many people have greatly benefited from your valuable wisdom. So how can people find you and get in contact with you?
I say just head on over to warmwelcome.com and you can send videos into a little video bubble there. That's fun. Devin's the one down there smiling and waving at you, but you can go there and we can connect that way.
Awesome, man. I love it. I'll definitely be checking Warm Welcome out about the stuff that you said, all those cool things. I think it's definitely going to take all of our businesses to that next level. So really awesome stuff there, man. So thank you everyone for watching and listening to this show where we talk about everything on business growth. Please like, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review. You can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube as Athin Cassiotis. So visit my website, athincassiotis.com. I completely agree with you, or do I? The only way you know is if you tune in next time. So until next time, remember that our business grows when we learn skills and take action using them in spite of fear. Have a great day.